For NYUpInSyracuse.com, I am Matt Parrino coming to you from inside New Era Field, where your Buffalo Bills are 8-3. I think we got a pretty good football team to talk about here. 20-3 was the final score today. The Denver Broncos came into town with their vaunted elite defense, and Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, primarily their rushing attack, 244 of their 400-plus yards of total offense, get the job done. On the other side of the ball, the defense was absolutely outstanding. Shutdown. Brandon Allen, the inexperienced quarterback that's come in relief of Joe Flacco, who was injured a few weeks ago. He came in today, completed one big ball to Cortland Sutton, and then the rest of the way, the Bills absolutely shut him down. Not a lot of action out of that Denver backfield either. Royce Freeman, Phillip Lindsay weren't able to get anything going consistently because this defensive front for the second straight week has figured things out. You have a Shaq Lawson with 2 big sacks today. Ed Oliver with a sack for his second straight game. Matt Milano, who I talked about in my instant observations, I led with him because he was absolutely electric today. He's flying around the football field, really seems to be fitting into his gaps, making plays in the run game and also in the pass game. 2 big pass breakups to kind of build the momentum for this Buffalo defense in the first half. But I want to talk about a few things that really stood out to me today. And first of all, it's the play of Josh Allen. I spent a lot of time after this game talking about his progression, his development. And again, for the second straight week, he just looked composed, like he gets it. You talk in the locker room after the game, this offensive line, what it's like playing with him. He's so competitive. He's so poised. He's a guy that guys in this room want to play for. He goes out only 185 yards passing today, but 60% completion percentage, 2 passing touchdowns. He added 50 yards on the ground rushing. I mean, it's almost like 50 yards rushing for him is just expected at this point. And it's just the little plays that he makes that I think separate him from some of the other quarterbacks, in this league. On a 3rd and 5 play early in the first half, he evades 2 blitzing linebackers to get out in space, runs for 18 yards, I believe it was 18 yards, to get a first down. He's just a dynamic player. I was in the Denver locker room after the game, talked to Chris Harris, who had a little bit to say in the lead up to this matchup in terms of, saying that a comparison to Cam Newton wouldn't really be a great one because Cam Newton was the real deal, kind of implying that Josh Allen wasn't. And I asked him, he was asked, what's so tough about playing a guy like Josh Allen? He's like, he makes you chase him. He makes you run after him. And so you're tired not only from, trying to watch out for running backs and guarding the receivers that you're supposed to cover, but then you have to worry about the dynamic nature of Josh Allen, the runner, and it really frustrated things today. And I think Josh Allen is just taking strides as he goes through the season, getting more comfortable with those players around him. John Brown today, Cole Beasley with a big day. He went over 70 yards receiving. John Brown with the big touchdown in the 4th quarter, a 34-yard bomb. It's that one that we've been waiting for, right? Josh Allen hitting the long ball in that one right over the cornerback, Chris Harris's head. It was picture perfect. And the Bills are just, doing everything right on both sides of the ball right now. And they have a lot of momentum, and it's built up to a nice bit of momentum here going into a very important game against the Dallas Cowboys. The running game today, 244 yards rushing. Devin Singletary had over 100 yards for the first time in his career. Frank Gore, 65 yards on 15 carries. He becomes the NFL's 3rd all-time leading rusher, passing Barry Sanders. What a moment for him. And in the locker room after the game, Devin Singletary was asked about what it's like to share the backfield, and as he's talking about it, Frank Gore was quick to pipe in and say, yeah, but let's talk about the kid's 100-yard game for the first time. So there's a lot of momentum. There's a lot of good things happening in this locker room, and I think it starts on both sides of the ball, like Sean McDermott said all the way back at training camp, at the line of scrimmage. They're winning their one-on-one matchups. Today, Mitch Morse gets hurt. John Feliciano again has to shift over to that center spot from the right guard spot. Spencer Long comes in, and Cody Ford against Von Miller was really, really good today for most of the day. Von Miller praised him after the game. I mean, when you're able to come in when you've been splitting time all season, really relying on that veteran poise of Ty and Seki to kind of help you out maybe when things aren't going in, to bring in the veteran. Cody Ford was thrown to the Wolves today. He had to play the whole game at right tackle, and he really kind of played well. And that's a good sign for this Bills offensive line, which has been built on the basis of versatility, because when injuries happen, Bobby Johnson has told me multiple times, we want to be able to shift guys around. And, you know, Von Miller gave props to Cody Ford, Deion Dawkins. Tyler Kroft got into the action a little bit today as well, caught a pass, and Sean McDermott's talked about his well-rounded game since he's come back from injury. So things are clicking on both sides of the ball. Tre'Davious White has, keep your eye on it, great matchup today against Cortland Sutton. Did a good job shutting him down. Next week against Denver, he's going to have Amari Cooper. And this is another game where the Bills are going to go up against a wide receiver duo. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. They have playmakers on that Dallas Cowboys offense. Ezekiel Elliott, who kind of has been a little bit held down a little bit this year. You don't want to let him get going early. That one, we'll talk a lot about that, but it's a quick turnaround. We're talking to Sean McDermott here after the game, and he said he's going to walk about 150 yards over to the Bills training facility so he can start prepping for Dallas. We will be back here Monday, Tuesday, off day Wednesday for travel, and then Thursday this week, Thanksgiving Day. Buffalo Bills 8-3 against the 6-5 Dallas Cowboys. We got a lot to talk about this week, guys. The Buffalo Bills with a 20-3 win here today. As always, for all of your Bills content, keep it locked on NY Up, Syracuse.com, and we'll see you next week.